The episode of Grey's Anatomy that aired tonight had Lucas and Simone reuniting with one another. It was wonderful to see her advocating for him. Due to the fact that he only loved her, he decided to forego the opportunity to work in Chicago. While he was in Seattle, he was going to give it his all, even in the event that he is required to repeat his residency for the first year of his life. Although he had a job, he believed that Simone was more essential. They were so content with each other that everyone in the house could hear them giggling and laughing together. Micah was unable to get a good night's sleep because they were constantly fighting with each other. She made an effort to take her complaint to their other roommate. It was not Kwan's room where he was sleeping. Due to the fact that he had given his own bed to his ex-fiancée, he was actually sleeping on the couch in the living room. At one point, Kwan was engaged. He was in a relationship with Molly Tran. Through a really difficult period, she was able to assist him. They were content with their relationship until she was involved in an accident. The memories she had vanished. The identity of Kwan was utterly lost on her. She saw Kwan as an unknown person. He walked away in order to avoid causing her any confusion. Prior to her getting in touch with him a few weeks ago, he believed that was the final chapter in the story. In her background, she had a lot of gaps that needed to be filled, and she believed that he could help her fill them. By trying to impose her will on Kwan, she was causing him a great deal of pain, but she was unaware of the extent of that pain. She might have lost her memory, but she did not lose her determination to do what she wanted. Molly was residing at the house at the time. Kwan was her companion on his way to work. He was not going anywhere without providing her with the answers she was looking for. In most cases, she would wait in the waiting area while Kwan was hard at work. By some means, she managed to make her way onto the floor of the patient. As time went on, many started to speculate that Kwan was having sexual relations with a member of a patient's family. He came to the conclusion that he needed to take action on Molly. He attempted to persuade her to go by using words, and then she confronted him with yet another inquiry. She was curious as to the reason why she did not have a lot of photographs of him. They were in a committed relationship. It was a life that they were creating together. On the other hand, she discovered only a few photographs of him. Is that the case? However, Kwan was not actually a photographer. He was under the impression that if he shared bits and pieces of their history with Molly, she would go. He stated that they had first met at a Halloween party. Both of them had a wonderful time together. It was during this time that he was saying that she was his lifeline when his patient passed out. An acquaintance from Owen's past was the subject of Kwan and Simone's collaboration. Nora is her given name. He was her childhood companion. As children, they were both involved in a play. After that, he went on to become a physician, and then he joined the military. Her goal was to work as a correspondent for the White House. After then, she became acquainted with her former husband. He was a farmer in the past. He persuaded Nora to relocate to the property so that she could be with him. Her ex-boyfriend was attempting to get rid of her like it was yesterday's news, despite the fact that they have 4 children together. Nora became aware that she was not feeling well during the course of their protracted and drawn-out divorce proceedings. In her heart, she was experiencing a lot of struggle. To ensure that she received the best medical care available, Nora came to Seattle. For Teddy, she yearned. It was unclear to Teddy whether or not she should be Nora's physician. Recently, Teddy was able to regain her position as a cardiac surgeon. She was under the impression that she would be chief once more, and Richard had to break that illusion. He informed Teddy that he would continue to serve as chief. From that point on, he was going to remain in that position until she could demonstrate that she is trustworthy and that she would not steal from the hospital. Once more, each of Teddy, Owen, and Amelia were able to return to their regular jobs. Teddy received a transfer. Even though it had only been a week, Amelia had already lost her lab to another person. In spite of his return to the hospital, Owen was the only person who did not experience any consequence. It was a relief to see him again. He was concerned about Nora and wanted to keep an eye on her. When Nora took a turn for the worse, he instructed Teddy to put her disagreements with Richard to the side. When it came to Nora, she was going to require the very best surgeons. A young boy of 1 year old who had a high risk of developing cancer. A significant bulk can be found in his chest. When it came to removing it off the boy, Amelia collaborated with Monica. That young man's name is Kanda. It was death that he was preoccupied with. He was under the impression that if he joked or talked about it, it would not frighten him. It was his reverend who was responsible for delivering a catalogue of caskets. He was getting his father ready for a life without him going forward. Carl was uncertain about the time when the subsequent mass would be found to be malignant. He had a natural desire to be courageous when he was confronted with death, for the sake of both himself and his uncle. After the operation, Cal had a difficult time. Schmidt was forced to make another call for the surgeons. It was during this time that Meredith was surreptitiously conducting tests on Catherine that they were doing that. If Meredith agreed to be Catherine's physician, then and only then would Catherine agree to reinstate the surgeons that she had sacked. However, Catherine did not want her family to be aware that she was passing away. Meredith concurred to serve as her physician. Catherine was subjected to a combination of tests. She discovered that Catherine's liver is covered in a number of tumors all over her body. Following that, Meredith sought assistance from Bailey. It was Bailey who examined the scans. After some time, she came to the realization that there was a possibility that the tumors were not cancerous. The results of a biopsy would be quite easy to determine. Both Meredith and Bailey were successful in persuading Catherine to get one done. In the absence of solutions, Catherine was not going to reveal the information to Richard. On the other side, Richard spent his time away from home playing golf with Winston and Lucas. They had a wonderful time. Cal, on the other hand, was diagnosed with a rapidly expanding brain tumor. In reality, he was passing away at the same moment. Because he only had a few months left to live, Schmidt assisted Cal in compiling a list of things that he wants to do before he dies. Before he passed away, he jotted down all he desired to accomplish in his life. He had fantasies of attending a space camp. His goal was to pack as much as he could into a little over a year. Furthermore, Schmidt was present to assist him for as long as it was possible. Moreover, Quan disclosed the truth to Molly. The real reason she does not have his photographs was revealed to her by him. Following the death of his mother and his affair with Molly, he was going through a difficult period in his life. It happened just once. Soon later, he felt regret for his actions. Molly was informed by him. It was the most intense fight they had ever had. The moment she got behind the wheel, she was involved in a collision with another vehicle. Quan has never stopped blaming himself for the car disaster that occurred. At the same time, he attempted to kiss Molly tonight, but she was not present. The answers brought her a sense of relief. It's just that she didn't love him as much as she used to. Teddy was able to save Nora's life on her own without any assistance. Additionally, she had a lengthy speech planned for Richard. She informed Richard that she is deserving of her position as chief, and he agreed with her assessment. Following his round of golf, he felt so calm and collected that he was no longer upset. Once more, Teddy was the chief. Additionally, she arranged for Meredith to have a scrub nurse accompany her to a treatment that she was unaware was for Catherine. Therefore, she is still flouting the regulations.